Hello, everyone, and welcome to HRL IndyHog round number 13 at Toronto. Last street circuit on the schedule. Let's do a quick fly through. See the drivers lined up here through the main straight. So this one's very quick and almost go-karty to an extent. And definitely scaled down a bit. Maybe the most scaled down on the season. Little Texas probably takes the cake for that, I would imagine. But yeah, Little Texas probably takes the cake. But this is probably second, so a little bit different. Fitting it inside of the Blood Gulch remake on H2A here, so a little bit of a different aesthetic too. But still, Toronto and something to make it stand out on the schedule, I suppose. But yeah, this one's going to be interesting because this one's the most. This one's the most like actual street track. You're enclosed walls. It's super quick. Like this one, all the street tracks have had that, but this one definitely has it the most. So should be pretty cool. So there you have the fly through the track. So the race is going to be 24 laps, going to be 49 on the checkpoint. There's that extra checkpoint for the leader or whatever it is. Everybody gets the extra checkpoint, whatever it is. So 49 on the checkpoints, 24 laps, ran the heat races. Luke and Elite taking the wins in those in heat number 1 and heat number 2. We're going to be going left to right again. So Luke, Elite, Detail, Hunter, Armada, Soul, Roman, Solange, Camby, Coop, and Fireball joining in tonight, finally off on a Friday, I suppose. So making his first hog start since, well, I guess I could just say first hog start of the year, because I think that's true. I think that's true. I think the last one he ran was the Firestone Firehog Grand Finals, because that's where we split it up. That Grand Finals had some hog action, had some goose action. It was pretty cool. But anyways, Toronto, last street track on the schedule. You got the lineup, went through it. Let's get going. Here we go. Pace to the line, and we're green. Very quick start. It's a short pace to the line. Doesn't take super long to get there. And obviously, going into this race, a lot of drivers. Oh, some huge sends already. Expecting this to be a pretty cheesy one. We'll see how it plays out. Could definitely see why people would think that. This track, again, very tight. There's a lot of... Oh, it's close drift right there for Fireball. A lot of barriers. A lot of rumbles that kick your tires up, put you in a two-wheel. A lot of easy places to like clip your tires, pop two wheels, get sent into walls. There's just so much cheese potential. So we'll see if it actually lives up to that cheese potential, or if it ends up being a bit better than that. So we'll see how it plays out. I love that outside banking on the exit of turn 1. We'll see how many people actually use that, but that's a cool factor of the track. But Luke getting off to an early lead. Detail following him in second. Who is in third at the moment? Is it actually? It's Armada holding on to third place. So a good start for him. Elite falling back a bit because I believe he was on that front row. He's fallen back to fifth. We're already ripping through laps here. We're going to be completing lap 2. Again, the lap time very quick. Like I said, this is probably the second most downscaled track on the schedule. Oh, Hunter getting into the wall there. Little Texas, I would say, easily being the most downscaled, but this one taking second on that spot. Lot tighter, a lot more go-karty, but I like it. Makes it stand out a little bit more than if it was just a 1-to-1 on Toronto. Wow, Hunter sent it right there on Roman, I believe. Oh, saw a two-wheel there for Detail for second. That was pretty tight. Yeah, it was Roman. Oh, and pits are open. And we've got Armada sending it in. Lots of drivers sending it in. Here you see the pit road. Roman going for a double pit road again. Bit of a cheesy one. It kind of like snakes through. And interestingly enough, not only... Oh, what happened here? That looks like what I would expect from this track. What happened there? See as the drivers rip through the second straight here. There's the top two. Getting a nice gap early on, but I'm going to slow it down here because this is probably it. Hunter and Elite. Hunter with a big send to the inside. You can see his tires clip that inside. And now they're locked up. And Hunter, you could tell. I mean, he's not gassing it. His tires literally aren't moving. Like, he is trying to get this going, and now they're starting to move. Like, he's trying to get it going, and he's just stuck. And And Hunter and Elite both get in the wall. And Roman luckily kind of brings Soul along with him, so Soul's able to avoid it. Camby as well. And obviously all those guys that took the pits aren't going to have to deal with that. So big contact there. And that opens up the door potentially for Roman to take that spot from Hunter. Let's see if he can. Let's see if he's able to do so. And it's tough. I mean, you can make passes on this track, but it is difficult to complete a pass. And they're showing it. Oh! Hunter with some aggressive defense. What the hell happened there? Not letting Roman take the spot. What just happened in the pits? Lead battle continues to be close early on as well. What happened here? So, like, some late pit entries, maybe? Soul goes in. Elite, Armada. Oh, my goodness. I remember I watched this back. I gotta show this. There might be a lot of replays in this race. Just immediate warning for everyone. So this is what happened here. Okay, so Soul has this inside pit. Elite has this, like, third other side pit. And as you can see, they've got Armada on both ends. So Armada, like, has to go through the middle here. And admittedly, I would say this one is on Soul a bit. It's something I brought it up multiple times throughout the season that you should try to stay as close to your pit box as possible. And he just stands literally in the middle of the entry, and Armada has hogs both ways and just hits him. I mean, I don't really know. Armada could have tried to dodge it, but I think he was kind of cheesed. And then that makes things weird for Soul, because now he's all the way over here. And it's like, what do you do? Do you go back to your hog? Do you take the new one? Like, what do you do? He goes back. Slaunch pulls into his stall. He's got a newly respawned hog from Soul right in front of it. And Armada has to, like, point towards the wall. He just barely gets 2 tires in. Soul has to dodge him. Like, it just causes all kinds of commotion. And then Coop on the pit exit. And he's going to get a lead in the wall. Oh, it's Soul too. The mishaps continue. The mishaps continue. So, an exciting race off pit road. Coop bringing it up side by side, and he's got so much momentum. And I think this is similar to what we saw with Hunter and Elite. They lock up, and that one's not too bad, because, I mean, Coop gave space. Like, it was close, but he definitely gave space. Maybe Elite a little too hot on the outside, maybe misjudging it a little bit. It's tight, but I don't think that was too dirty out of Coop. I don't know what Elite would think off the replay. Maybe it's different from his POV. And then Coop, I think, trying to like regain from that, goes back to the inside, tries to get back to the line, and you can see there's the gap there in theater, but probably not in the race. Gets Soul on the inside wall, right in front of Armada, and Soul gets spun around. So just tragic series of unfortunate events. I'm not talking Lemony Sticket. Woo! But battle for the lead, meanwhile, while all of that is going down, let's, well, we could probably roll it back a bit and see. Oh, yeah, it probably is right here. We could fast forward it a little bit. Like I said, there's going to be, especially early in this Moto 1, there's going to be a lot of replay action. There's too much going down. So, while, oh, yeah, because this is a little bit further back, too, so you'll see the lap time is really quick. It's like 30 seconds. It can't be much longer than 30 seconds in this track. It's really quick lap time. So, while all that was going down, lead battle spices up. Like 4 laps into the race. Detail gets a really nice run to the inside here. And it's going to open it up. But how do you make the pass? You probably have to have a better run than this. Is it enough? Not going to be. And you can tell he didn't really go for the complete pass. Goes to try to set it up in the next section. He's going to try to defend it. Detail will get the run on the back end here. And it's going to be just enough room to have the inside. He's going to have the run, the 2-wheel, all the way in. The send, that was pretty sick. Hold on. New angle because it was hot. Oh, that was pretty hot. 2-wheel send into it all the way through the final turns. Can he complete the pass? Racing each other pretty clean. Not quite yet. Pass not completed, but he does still have that inside, and this is probably where he'll do it. You see he gets that bounce off that kind of like rut on the inside. And he's going to make the pass. So potentially a big move right there. Detail making the pass for the lead 5 laps into the race. And now going to have that. So now race under his control. Can make the play calls for the pits. We'll have to see what he does with that. But it's still really close for the lead. Interestingly, The third place gap is huge. Hunter, did Hunter hit pit road already? I'm not sure, but they already have a pretty nice gap, so the lead battle going on with a nice gap to the rest of the field as well. I don't think these guys have pit yet, but yeah, Hunter, Roman, that'll be third, fourth right now, and can be holding on to fifth. And then you've got these guys like Fireball here, and pit takers like Coop, Slaunch, Armada, Elite, Soul. Like, we're gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, maybe a 38-second lap time or so. I'm not sure. Somewhere in that vicinity, somewhere in that realm. It's pretty quick. And maybe Elite making the pass here for Armada. Oh, I don't know if it needed to be that aggressive. I get the urgency. I get the feeling to do so. I don't know if it needed to be that aggressive, but that was a pretty hard send on Armada. Elite gonna take the spot there. Speaking of hard send, oh my God, hold up. What was that? That was even harder. Let's see what happened here. Coop and Slaunch gonna be blasting into this corner, and Slaunch just full sends the inside. Takes that position, try not to waste any time. And Armada under pressure from Soul now. Oh, and Coop now has to worry about Elite as well. What is this back to like mid-pack battle right now? It is brutal back here. Armada now trying to make the move on Coop. Oh, this is just a tough sequence of events for Coop. He's just going backwards, needs to regain, needs to try to get some track position back here. Not what he was looking to do here. After getting a bit of track position from the pit strategy. Soul, maybe... Oh! Hard contact. Soul going to take the spot to rough sequence for Coop. Losing a few positions there. Going to try to recover from that one. Soul going in for the pit. I like it. I like the call. Why not? Quick one. Shot a lot of his bullets on the first one. And let's get reacquainted here. What is going on? Where are they? Okay. Lead battle, still pretty close. Still pretty close. Not quite halfway into the race, but yeah, they're still having a nice battle there. Hunter with third. Roman must have went in for a pit, I would assume. Camby going to do his there too. Yep, Fireball, Roman in front of him. So yeah, there must have been some pit action, and Roman going to go for, I'm sure, his second. Camby going in for, I believe, his first. And Roman, wow, will come out in front of Camby, and that's huge. Because, again, I think Camby has another pit, but if Camby came out in front of Roman right there, that would have been really, really rough for Roman's pit strategy. So the fact that he came out just in front of Camby right there, definitely something that he'd be looking to do in that situation. So I'm sure he's going to be pretty happy with that. Lead battle's still very tight. Gap, pretty big still for third, but yeah, about a 2 hog length gap for the lead. So that might be going on for the rest of the race. We'll see how that evolves throughout the night. Fireball kind of on his own strategy as well. Then Roman and Camby close to each other, but again, Roman's got the advantage. I'm pretty sure he's done with his pits. I don't think Camby is. I think Camby's got another one to go. Some of these guys in the back are done with both pits, though. So definitely varying pit strategies throughout the field. Not surprising that we're seeing that on this track. I would expect to see it here on Toronto. There's a lot of room for variation, especially because I mentioned it briefly earlier, but this track has similar characteristics as you'd expect to Roman's other entry in the schedule. Lafayette, so the pits, double-sided there, double-sided here. And then also, on that track, they were a big shortcut. On this one, they can be a shortcut, potentially. So on Lafayette, you could take... Obviously, this isn't allowed in the rules, but in theory, you could do a 24-bullet pit, and I'm pretty sure it would still be a shortcut. It would be close. Pretty sure it'd still be a shortcut on Lafayette. That one was so insane that it would still be faster than taking the normal line without the pit. On this one, I don't know what the threshold is exactly, but it's a bit shortcutty here as well. Again, I don't know exactly like what the bullet count is, and it's getting spicy. This lead battle's not over. Detail got the gap, extended the gap a bit a few laps earlier, but Luke working it back down, so definitely not done here. And this is a huge battle too for the point situation. Detail with the pressure on after Pocono. Luke having a good night there, putting on the sweep, so now pressure on for Detail to try to put on a good performance here at Toronto. Try to reel those points back in, because there's still 7 motos left, which is plenty of time. Slaunch, another driver, trying to do so as well, but not off to as good of a start for the night. He was a bit late. That put him on the back foot for the heat races, so he's kind of he's kind of, working from that position on this night. So it's not going to be a perfect night for him. He's going to have to try to salvage the best that he can. But yeah, I don't know exactly what it is for the pit on this one. I want to say around 12 bullets is a shortcut, possibly. And if you do longer than that, it's not. I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of hard to tell. It's around there. So, So depending on how long your pit is, it can be a shortcut on this one as well. So again, not as egregious as Lafayette as Camby goes in for his final pit here. Not as egregious as that track, because that track was insane with the shortcut. Yeah, it was it was crazy. This one, a little more tame on it, but definitely still some potential there. So that's going to switch up the pit strategies. That's going to put everybody in a different mindset when it comes to the pit strategies. It's not going to be the same here to what we're used to seeing. And interestingly enough, since there's only 2 races left in the schedule after this one, and one of them being an oval, this is going to be one of the last times that I get to talk about that pit strategy. Next week, I won't have to talk about it at all because we're back on an oval. And then Laguna Seca will be the final night, and that'll be also the final night where we have pits. So curious what everyone, now that we're winding down, now that we've had the full season to experiment with it and run it, curious what everyone's thoughts are on that. Now that we've, obviously I was checking it. Oh, and we have a big moment. Speaking of the pits, I'm gonna replay it because this is cheese. Speaking of the pits, it works out for the lead battle where they take their pit on the same lap. Potentially not ideal. They both go in and close on the stalls too. And we'll see how it works out and how many bullets they shoot. Oh, and a little bit of stoppage. It actually works out in Luke's favor a bit, because Detail was not able to get out of his pit stall as quickly as he wanted to. So potentially a strat call from Detail there to try to lead them into the pits. And then it might not have worked out. It wasn't too bad, to be fair. I mean, the gap is still like the same. And I think Detail might have gotten a couple more bullets off. So I think it still worked out in his favor. But definitely interesting how the literal hog in front of him stopped him from getting out as quickly as he could have otherwise. So interesting pit moment there. We haven't seen too many of those this season, but yeah, the lead battle going on with the pit on the same lap too, just to spice things up extra. So that's pretty fun. Yeah, definitely curious what everyone's thoughts are on it now that because I pulled it earlier, but that was, oh, hold on. I want to finish this point, but the battle won't stop. Luke gets the run to the inside this time. Oh, the squeeze of the 2-wheel, not going to be able to carry that through. A bit of an opening there, but not able to make it happen. But still working that down and not much time left in the race. Battle definitely not over yet, especially they both still have to take a pit. I think Hunter hasn't even taken any, so it's not just them. Like, a lot of these drivers, I think, still have pits. I think a lot of people waiting really late in this one. So we'll probably see some other pits, too. Definitely plenty more to go. But yeah, trying to finish the point. Yeah. Here's what everyone's thoughts are on the pit strategies now that we've had a fair sample size. Because again, like earlier, only a couple races, only a couple motos, and some changes after the first race. But now we've had a full season. Now we've had plenty of motos, plenty of examples, plenty of different scenarios, different style pit roads, different pit strategies that have played out. Plenty of examples there. So, don't really have to like imagine how it'd play out anymore. Like we've seen it. We've seen it how it goes and how it changes the dynamic of the races and such. So yeah, curious on that. But yeah, this race so far pretty good. I'm kind of shocked. I mean, it was pretty cheesy in the beginning. It's pretty cheesy in the beginning, but honestly, not that crazy. Not that crazy. And by that, I don't mean like it hasn't been an entertaining race, but I expected it to be a lot cheesier. I expected there to be a lot more rough driving. And I mean, there's been a few aggressive passes, but not as bad as I expected. Not as bad as I expected. Actually pretty clean. Like so far this moto, as far as the, the cleanest or the dirtiest motos on the season go, I don't think it's very high on the dirty scale. I think it's pretty low actually. I think this has been towards the middle or maybe even one of the cleaner ones, which is pretty crazy. I think a lot of people expected this to be a super cheesy night and to be, really aggressive and possibly frustrating. But yeah, not really playing out that way too so far. and pleasantly surprising, I'd say. So this might be, it is. Are they doing it? No, this time Luke will switch it up. Detail finishes his pit there. Quick 2 bullets. Oh, look at that rejoin. Look at that rejoin. So maybe not as much of a shortcut as I thought, I would say, based off what we just saw. It feels like it, though. It really feels like it. I'm not so sure. But yeah, the pit strategy, the way it works out, gives Luke some clean air. We'll see what he can do with it. Gonna have to take the pit this next lap, and this is gonna be the conclusion of the race coming up very shortly. So one of the craziest lead battles we've seen all season. This is gonna be the end of it. The bullets are out. The race off pit road. Detail's clearly gonna have it, but Luke will have the run off. So definitely, yeah, definitely. We thought it was going into it. I thought it was more of a shortcut, but based off what we saw there, you know, not so much the case from what I was thinking earlier. That's how I thought it went. Maybe it was the heat races that made me think it was that way. But yeah, definitely Lafayette more of a shortcut. This one, close. You don't lose as much time as you'd think, but not quite shortcut level. Definitely not quite there. But definitely a quick pit though. One of the quicker pits for sure. That being said though, lead battle's gone on literally the entire race, and it's going to go on one more lap. White flag last time around. And it's going to be hard because there's a pretty big gap for Luke to hunt down. Ideally, you'd want to be right there going into the last lap. Although, making it close, gaining some time, about a hog length between him. Detail trying to hold on this last time around. Making a clutch pass earlier in the race, trying to hold on the rest of the way. Can he do it? Just a few more corners to go. Only a couple more opportunities for the pass to happen. And honestly, at this point, it's going to be really hard to do. But we'll see if there's any kind of opening. It doesn't look like it. Detail will hold on for the win right there. Luke second in the first moto. Literal side-by-side battle that went on the entire race. Who takes third? Roman comes out, takes third. Fireball fourth. Solange fifth. Hunter sixth. Elite seventh as well. And Soul gonna come across the line in eighth. Oh, pretty close there. But Armada taking ninth. Canby 10th. Although pretty close gap between them. And Coop will round out the field in 11th. Go back and get the order before we go into the next race, or one more time through the top three. I mean, we already went through the order. So again, on the podium for Moto 1, Detail, then Luke, then Roman. Roman kind of sneakily working his way up to the podium there, and just a long-term pit strategy that paid off. And then for the front two spots, battle that went on the entire race. So different races throughout the field. And yeah, for Romans, it kind of just took a while for the other drivers to pit, I think, for it to look, for us to figure out like what position he was in exactly. But that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, good race. Congrats to them on the podiums. Congrats to Detail on the win. 8th Moto win of the season, setting him up well for the second Moto. We'll see if he can take the overall there, or see a push from Luke or Roman, or maybe a dark horse of Fireball or Solange in 4th and 5th in this Moto. They could still have a pretty good shot at it as well. So those are the main contenders I'd look for in the next Moto. See how it goes with the invert. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed Moto 1, and see you there.